LeBron James's time in the NBA is up, and his refusal to retire is dragging the Lakers down with him, and the league knows it. The fans have been saying this for the longest time. But now, even the legends are saying it out loud. LeBron's time is over, and it's time for Luka Doncic to take over. And this isn't just Twitter noise or hot takes. Michael Jordan himself said this.
Retirement's been calling. He just won't answer.
And that's just Michael Jordan. Wait till you hear how far Magic Johnson and Shaq took this. Trust me, you haven't heard them speak like this before. You know what people keep missing? All of this didn't start this season. This whole Luka takeover thing has been creeping for years because it's just the most logical next step. And the only guy acting like he's shocked by it is, of course, LeBron himself. Honestly, if you've been paying attention, the signs are impossible to ignore. By the beginning of 2026, Luka Doncic wasn't just a contender anymore. He was the gravitational pull for the Lakers. Just take a look at the All-Star voting at the beginning of the year. Over 5.2 million fan votes poured in for Luka, while LeBron barely crossed 3.1 million. And the weirdest part about it is how no one was shocked by this. So, if everyone, the fans, the press, and players, including the legends of the game, collectively agree that it's time for Luka, why the heck are we still seeing Big Uncle LeBron on the court? Why are you 41 years old and still competing with 20-year-olds? And it's not just the voting. It was obvious in the games the Lakers played early in the year. Early 2026 was like Luka's personal coming-out party. Against the Pelicans, he dropped 32 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds, and walked off like it's another day at practice. Then, 2 nights later, the Lakers beat the Grizzlies. Luka made 28 points, 10 assists, and 12 rebounds. Even the players around him are getting better due to his impact. We see Austin Reeves hitting shots he wouldn't normally take, and Rui Hachimura suddenly cutting harder and finishing cleaner. And here's the not-so-crazy part. None of this required LeBron. It's been clear to anyone who's been watching. And even the legends have been signaling to LeBron for years that his time with the Lakers, and the NBA in general, is up. We understand he's still trying to prove that he's one of the greats, but nothing he does now will make the fans place him on the same level as players like Kobe or Jordan. In fact, Magic Johnson said it himself in a press conference in 2025.
LeBron is a bad boy too. He's a bad boy, but he's not Michael. Don't get it twisted. I love LeBron, but no.
It's not disrespect, it's just reality. And it's not only Magic, but Shaq has also been blunt with his opinion. He says the Lakers need to start building the next 10 years around Luka, not another farewell tour for a 41-year-old.
At some point, we will see LeBron retire, but you got a 25-year-old Luka Doncic, so that means we got another good 10 years looking at the Lakers.
But on the other hand, Cedric Maxwell, who is a Finals MVP and 2-time Celtics champ, a guy who actually played alongside Larry Bird, came out and compared Luka to Bird. He talked about Luka's court vision, how he manipulates defenders without relying on insane athleticism, and the way he paces a game.
When someone like you says that Luka is a carbon copy of Larry Bird, that's obviously a more powerful statement.
I said right now, I think that you asked me, so who would Larry Bird what would he be like in the NBA? And Luka would be him or he'd be Luka.
These aren't hot takes. They're expert-level, first-hand comparisons. Even analysts like Jovan Buha have been talking about the Lakers' offensive rhythm improving dramatically with Luka at the center. Possessions look cleaner, the ball moves faster, and spacing is smarter. It's the kind of improvement you can measure. In January 2026 alone, the Lakers' net rating when Luka was on the floor without LeBron jumped to plus 5.2 in the first quarter alone, showing how his presence transforms the team's efficiency. Even the numbers from clutch games reinforce it. In that back-to-back Memphis series, Luka had a usage rate north of 34%, an efficiency rating around 28%, and a box plus-minus of plus 10.8. These aren't just flashy stats, they show he's running the offense, creating opportunities and maintaining efficiency while dragging the team through high-pressure moments. Meanwhile, LeBron has been playing fewer games, struggling with back soreness and injuries. The message is totally clear. It's time to pack it up, old man. And LeBron knows it. That's what makes it tense. He stayed because he wanted one last run, one more chance to define his legacy. But Luka shouldn't have to wait for anyone's permission. And just like Shaq said, LeBron isn't doing much for the Lakers anymore, and the numbers show they really do not need him.
If you want to see how true it is, just watch a Lakers game when LeBron wasn't on the floor.
Early in the 2025-2026 season, LeBron missed the first 14 games, of course, due to his back issues, and honestly, it was the perfect showcase of why the narrative around him being some unstoppable athlete is outdated. Because the team didn't just survive without him, they thrived. The Lakers went 10-4 in that stretch, and Luka wasn't just hitting numbers, he was carrying the offense, dictating the pace, and putting everyone else in position to succeed. Across those games, he averaged 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 11 assists per night with an efficiency rating of around 27.5% and a box plus minus of plus 9.3. And the team's stats even make it more obvious. While he was on a break, the Lakers' net rating without LeBron sat at plus 1.1, meaning they were a positive team on both ends of the court. But when he returned, that same net rating dropped to minus 2.5. And honestly, being a true leader isn't something you can fake. When LeBron was out dealing with his injuries, Luka was already prepared for the team to move on without him. In his words, hopefully LeBron can join us as soon as possible, but the mentality has to be the next man up. I just want to play basketball, whether that's less or more, whatever it takes to get the win. He wasn't waiting for anyone's approval or asking for permission. He was in charge. That combination of numbers and character in today's NBA is almost unheard of, especially at 26 years old. It reminds me of when we watched players like MJ or Kobe play. The Lakers' early season success without LeBron made it impossible to ignore the fact that Luka wasn't just keeping the team afloat. He was showing the league that the Lakers can actually improve without LeBron dragging them down. Everyone, including LeBron, knows he's not the unstoppable force he used to be. So, by the time he returned, the Lakers had discovered a rhythm without him, and it wasn't easy to integrate the old guard back in. And if you think it's maybe a chemistry thing or it's the team's fault, you have to take a look at how bad LeBron's numbers declined at the beginning of this year. Through January, LeBron is averaging around 22 to 24 points per game, which is a huge dip from his career averages that were in the high 25s to low 30s for the past decade. His field goal percentage has dropped to around 48%, which is down from his career average of about 50%. Which doesn't sound like a ton, but when you consider he's taking more perimeter shots than ever to adapt to the modern pace, it's actually a pretty wide efficiency loss. And those are just the raw scoring numbers. His assists per game have dipped to 6.8, while his rebounds are down to 5.4 per game. This is not bad for a 41-year-old, sure, but these shouldn't be the numbers from someone who is supposed to be the team leader. Oh, and get this, LeBron had a 297-game streak record of scoring at least 10 points in every regular season game, and that streak has been one of his main points when he's trying to prove his importance to the league. But guess what? That streak ended this season in December in a game against the Raptors. The Lakers actually won that game 123-120, but Mr. I'm not retiring till I'm a billion years old scored only 8 points, just 8 points. I don't think there's bigger evidence of how badly he is falling. He's also been dealing with chronic back pain, sciatica, and nagging joint issues, which have forced him to miss games or limit his minutes. In fact, in the first 30 games of the 2025-26 season, he's only played 18 full games. And it's not even just that, you can see it in how he plays as well. His first steps aren't as explosive as they used to be, his side-to-side movement is slower, and when the Lakers push the pace, it's clear LeBron can't carry the same weight for a full 36-40 minutes like he used to. Even from a coaching angle, it's obvious J.J. Redick, the Lakers' head coach, has openly said the team has been less organized since LeBron came back.
You know, I think since we've gotten Bron back, we haven't been as organized offensively, too many random possessions.
And when even your head coach says that about you, you know that it's real. Then there's the off-court drama, talks about his affiliation with Diddy, how he influenced his son, Bronny being drafted to the Lakers, among many other weird stuff connected to him. Let's be honest, LeBron staying in the Lakers right now is less about the team and more about chasing that last championship so he can say he's on the same level with Kobe in terms of rings. But even at that, he can never have MJ's numbers. MJ has 6, and we all know how impossible that is for LeBron. Meanwhile, we have an eligible 26-year-old who is ready to take over, whenever LeBron decides to get out of the way. I mean, sure, if we're being fair. LeBron is still LeBron in terms of name, recognition, and legacy, but the reality on the court is far from that, and all the legends who have been quietly hinting at this were right. Now, if you've been paying attention so far, you can notice some restraint in how I have been comparing these two players, but right now, Let's stop dancing around it and get to the plain truth. Luka is a better player than LeBron James. There, I said what I said, because if you actually place them head-to-head, the gap is clear. Of course, we talked about how as of early 2026, Luka averaged 33.5 points, 8.7 assists, 7.9 rebounds, and 1.52 steals per game, and LeBron averaged 21.7 points, 6.8 assists, 5.4 rebounds, and 1 steals. First off, that gap isn't subtle. I mean, Luka is playing 50% more minutes at peak efficiency, carrying the offense, and still finishing games strong. Meanwhile, LeBron is on a strict minutes cap because of injuries, and even in those limited stints, he isn't generating the same team impact. Here's another fun fact for you. Did you know that in his first 6 seasons, Luka already has 5 All-NBA first-team selections, a playoff scoring average of 31.0 points, and a career high of 73 points in a game, while LeBron has 3 All-NBA first-team selections, a 29-point playoff average, and a career high of 61 points in his first 6 seasons. So, basically, Luka is doing what LeBron did in his prime, but faster, more efficiently, while dragging his team up with him. Also, out of the two of them, only one player has ever deserted his team to go chase championships. Luka remained with his team until the front office traded him. That alone should tell the Lakers who they need to start rallying behind. And when it comes to clutch moments, Luka is on a different level than LeBron right now. Take the game on January 10th, 2026 against Memphis, the first of that back-to-back series. The fourth quarter of that game was tight and the Lakers were down by 2 with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. And almost like he activated an extra level of efficiency he had been saving, in the last 5 minutes, Luka hit 7 of 9 shots, including a huge step-back 3 that basically sealed the game. Meanwhile, in a similar crunch-time moment earlier against Phoenix, LeBron scored a late jumper, but the team actually did worse with him on the floor and ended that stretch with a -3. Or look at the January 12th Memphis rematch, where the game came down to the last 2 minutes. In those final 2 minutes, Luka put up 8 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds while setting up other players for open shots just by drawing all the attention to himself. LeBron's true shooting in the last 5 minutes is around 52%, while Luka's sits at 61%. At the NBA level, that's a huge difference. And the impact goes beyond stats. Remember what I said about Luka making his teammates better? Well, in that Memphis back-to-back, Rui Hachimura scored 22 points over the 2 games and hit 70% of his shots, and Austin Reeves knocked down 5 clutch threes, all set up by Luka's decision-making. Compare that to that game against Toronto, where LeBron scored 8 points. That was the same game where the Lakers lost their rhythm, and they had to rely on a contested three-pointer by a role player to force the match into overtime. And that brings me to the point I made earlier. Luka is currently outperforming LeBron in every meaningful metric, from scoring to passing, efficiency, floor control, leadership, and durability. So that's why when MJ said retirement was calling on LeBron, it wasn't so much of a jab as him clearly stating the truth. But here's where it gets interesting. Jordan has been endorsing Luka way before things got this messy. In 2022, a clip went viral of MJ hugging Luka. And this was not a pat on the back or some awkward handshake. This was a full-on proud big bro hug.
What up, dude?
And it's important for you to understand that the last time we saw MJ act that way with another player was with Kobe Bryant. That was basically a stamp of approval from the greatest player the game has ever had. Now this is MJ with LeBron that same night. Yikes, MJ wasn't even trying to hide how he feels. Then there's Allen Iverson. Iverson has never been one to mince words. Back when he was asked about Luka's style, he said this.
Because they probably kill me for it.
No, you should say it. We can edit it out. We won't.
Yeah, he played the way he played.
He plays like a white guy?
No, he plays like a black guy.
Ah.
And before anyone jumps, this was Iverson's way of giving the highest compliment he could give. But here's the twist to this whole thing. Iverson was invited to an ESPN interview where he was asked about the LeBron situation. And I haven't seen someone more direct. In his exact words, "It's time for him to leave. It's Luka's time." And even beyond the viral clips, the sheer fact that the legends aren't being diplomatic about this issue is what concerns me the most. Do you know how deep it has to be for the legends to come out and clearly pick a side between LeBron James and Luka Doncic? It's an actual consensus, and LeBron knows it too. Deep down, even he can feel the shift happening in the locker room, on the court, and in the stands. And there have even been rumors that this shift has caused a lot of tension behind the scenes, and that tension has even led to actual confrontations. See, Luka is no more the future star, because his rise in the NBA has caused a shift in the Lakers' locker room and has led them to redefine who's in charge. And that doesn't sit well when you've spent 2 decades being the guy. One of the first hints of that shift came when Luka openly discussed a private rotation meeting with coach JJ Redick that LeBron wasn't even part of. After a blowout win over Sacramento, Luka explained that he and Redick had pre-game talks about minute allocation and roles for that night, and LeBron was not involved in that conversation at all. That's subtle but huge. A coach doesn't just hash out rotation tweaks with a new star without real trust in his leadership. Then, there are the moments that fans caught on camera and instantly replayed. Even though there hasn't been an outright fight in public, which would never make it out of the locker room anyway, we've seen subtle body language moments that tell a lot. Multiple times, interactions between LeBron and Luka after matches have looked awkward, almost like 2 alpha personalities figuring out who leads. There was even a viral clip where LeBron snubbed Luka and ignored a handshake from him. Insiders close to the team have also hinted at the tension. One anonymous journalist said in his words, "LeBron isn't used to sharing the floor with someone else commanding the team." And there's a dynamic here where Luka's confidence and assertiveness are totally natural, while LeBron is still trying to maintain control the only way he knows how. To be honest, you really can't blame the legends for choosing Luka. If you watch Luka Doncic play, it's impossible not to notice something rare. He carries the soul of basketball. Not that flashy for the sake of highlights type of player, but the kind of player that reminds you why we fell in love with the sport in the first place. You think about MJ's ice-cold mid-range jumper, Bird's court vision, Magic running the floor like a commander, Shaq's dominance in the paint, and you find out that Luka channels a lot. And the craziest part is that at 26, he's the first player since Kobe to genuinely give that old-school energy while still thriving in this modern pace and space NBA system. Let's start with fearlessness. Luka doesn't shy away from contact, crunch time shots, or taking control when everything is on the line. Look at what he did in that rematch with the Grizzlies earlier in the year. That's old-school dominance, the kind of leadership that reminds you of MJ or Kobe. Even his step-back threes, which look modern and stylish, have the same elements as a good old Jordan fadeaway. Don't get me started on how versatile he is. He's a point guard who rebounds like a forward, facilitates like a top-tier playmaker, and can score inside or out. What about his basketball IQ? Luka reads defenses in real time, anticipates switches, and manipulates gravity on the floor. Even Gilbert Arenas, who doesn't give compliments lightly, has said that Luka reminds him of the older NBA players who played with a certain IQ level that can't be taught.
You know, he has that old, and I hate to say it, that old Duke fundamentally sound, footwork, reaction, ability to create shots.
So while Luka is channeling everything we associate with classic NBA greatness, LeBron, as incredible as his legacy is starting to feel like a fading relic. And if you have been following news and discussions going around the league, you can see that the Lakers front office isn't even hiding it anymore. Luka Doncic is the guy, and LeBron, well, he's slowly becoming optional. This isn't about drama or disrespect, it's pure strategy. The Lakers' general manager, Rob Pelinka, has said more than once that the team is building for the next 10 years around Luka.
It's a gift. We're talking about the 25-year-old that is top 3 player of the universe. I can't think of a more amazing starting point to build a roster for the next decade.
And it's not just what they're saying publicly. From what insiders are reporting, every roster move, trade discussion, and draft pick is being made with Luka in mind. They're trying to create a team that thrives around him, not bending around a 41-year-old trying to chase another ring. Even the marketing is screaming it. Luka's on the billboards, Luka's front and center in the arena, season ticket promos, and even Instagram campaigns. Everything is Luka. This isn't a new thing for the Lakers either. Take a look back at history. Magic had Worthy and Scott, Shaq had Penny and Kobe, and Kobe eventually became the full-on centerpiece. The organization has always made these moves quietly before the league catches on. That's exactly what's happening with Luka. Even the way the team runs games now shows it. LeBron's minutes are managed. Sometimes he's sitting while Luka controls the offense. So yeah, when people talk about who's running this team, it's not just stats. The front office is also aware of what Luka can offer them. At this point, the ending is already written. LeBron just gets to choose how it appears. He can do this the honorable way, step back, pass the keys to Luka, and let the league remember him as the guy who knew when it was time. That move wouldn't erase anything he's done. If anything, it would elevate his legacy. Or he can stay in the way until the Lakers, the front office, and reality force the decision for him. And that version? That's ugly. Luka's already here. The team is his. The future is his. The only question left is whether LeBron exits like a legend or gets pushed out like a relic.